I want to show you a Bitcoin at $20,000.
Big day for Bitcoin. That new record brings
linking Tesla's fortunes to Bitcoin.
Bitcoin hitting another milestone again today, reaching a market cap of more than $1 trillion.
Hello, this is Books of the Stock Market. How's everyone doing? As for me, I'm doing pretty well. The only thing I'm looking forward to is a warmer week. The weather forecast says it will be 7 degrees Celsius or 45 Fahrenheit this week. Lately, it has been so cold that when I go out for my run, my phone turns off midway because of the cold. I guess the only bad thing is the snow melting and making me slip all over the place while running. With that out of the way, let's get into this week's video. This week will be a different type of video. I'll not be giving a mini review on the chapter that I read. Instead, I'll be analyzing one of my most recent trades. This trade is up more than 200% in less than 3 months, and I thought I might as well share what I did, as I still think there is still more room to grow. So let's get into this trade. Before going to explaining what I did, I want to remind you that this is not financial advice. More importantly, however, remember to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell for me, as it really helps the channel. As you may know, crypto is up a significant amount ever since the end of last year. For instance, only recently did we see Bitcoin at the 50,000 area. So far for this year, it has risen 67%. With Bitcoin rising, naturally we saw other cryptocurrencies rise. For instance, we saw large amounts of money pile into Ethereum last week. We also saw other lesser known altcoins rise. Cardano is up 597% ever since the beginning of January. That is basically a 600% increase in less than 2 months. To put this into perspective, if you had only put $1,000 into Cardano in January, you would currently have $7,000 right now. Someone tell me an asset class that can rise that quickly. Okay, I guess trading options that expire in a week could be way more profitable, but if you're not using any derivatives, crypto is the answer. Also, gains like these can be had, but likewise losses like these can happen. So what was the trade that netted me over 200% in the past 3 months? The trade I made was on Ethereum. As you can see, I bought 3 Ethereum at $609.87 on December 21st. So if you look at it this way, instead of almost 3 months, Ethereum basically has risen over 200% in 2 months. I've also bought other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Litecoin. However, for these 2 cryptocurrencies, I've been just dollar cost averaging for the past 3 months, and it has served me pretty well. For instance, the most recent trade I made was on February 8th. I had some money left over in my portfolio, so I thought, why not buy some Litecoin? It seemed to be lagging behind other cryptocurrencies, so I thought this was the trade. For instance, both Ethereum and Bitcoin made new all-time highs at this point of the cycle, but Litecoin still hasn't broken out. So I bought 3 on February 8th for the cost of $152.71. And I think a day later, Litecoin just rose significantly. Off this trade alone, I made around $234 in less than a week. That's a little over 50% of my original investment. Okay, I'm done showing off. Let's get into why I got into this trade. I got into this trade because I was looking for different assets to diversify into. So I graduated in the spring semester of last year and was planning to go to grad school, but in the end I just said damn, I don't really want to study anymore, so I got a job. I was able to get a job within 1 month of job searching, which is pretty fast even though the coronavirus just hit. Anyways, I got this job and I started earning money. I had an HSA set up, a 401k set up, and was eventually going to set up my Roth IRA. In those accounts, I just selected the basic index funds and went all in into stocks because I'm only 22 years old and I don't see any need to get into bonds. I had some excess money left over and I just picked some random stocks I liked. I was making crappy returns because the market wasn't looking so bright due to COVID. On top of that, I was already hesitant about putting any more money into stocks because I already allocated a large portion of my salary into stocks in my retirement accounts. So I went to do some research. I found out the bull cycle phase of Bitcoin was going to peak at the year of 2021. I did some further research and it looked like cryptocurrencies were the best bet to maximize my gains. And that is how I got into crypto. More specifically, I found out about the bull cycle phase and the 4-year cycle while going through Reddit. I usually just linger around in Wall Street bets, but I decided to pop my head into r/cryptocurrencies. I was reading through some posts in the daily discussion and I tumbled onto this comment that showed this image. Apparently, I found out that Bitcoin was going to rise significantly in a couple of months. I didn't find this post at Bitcoin's bottom because that would be this green circle, but I did find out about this post at this blue circle, so relatively I got in pretty early. I'll make a couple of videos on the 4-year cycle and how the price action of crypto could be visualized since the foundation of it all is in math. Once I was convinced, I just went all in with the money I just had left over. I didn't need to convince myself a lot because this was a relatively small portion of the money. On top of that, the stock market wasn't looking so hot due to the coronavirus. So I was in. I just needed to find a way to buy cryptocurrencies. I did some research on some brokers and I was choosing between Cash App, Coinbase, and Kraken. However, the problem with these brokers is that there are fees for almost everything. For instance, Coinbase is the most popular out of the three, but they also have so many fees. There are fees for withdrawing, fees for depositing, fees for buying and selling, like what the heck. And since this was a short-term trade, because I knew Bitcoin would eventually peak at sometime in September 2021, I went with Robinhood. I note that Robinhood doesn't actually buy and hold the actual cryptocurrency. Like, I believe, if I understood correctly, they let you trade the crypto through a stock of some sort that mirrors the price of Bitcoin, and they don't actually let you hold the actual cryptocurrency. So in the end, you're not actually holding any Bitcoin. This was good enough for me because once again, I was planning to hold it for less than a year and I could care less about if I held the actual Bitcoin. I guess one downside to this is that they don't offer a lot of crypto. As you can see, the only realistic options for crypto was Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. The rest are irrelevant, and the more speculative coins such as Cardano are not even available. With being up 200% in unrealized gains, the natural question would be when to cash out. Many investors will take profits because who wouldn't take profits at 200%? However, I have a quote that actually sums up what I'm going to do. As many of you may have heard before, it is important to let your winners run and cut your losses short. If not, it's just better to put all your money into a large cap index fund and forget about it. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. As mentioned before, there's still more room to run. I believe that the top is somewhere in September, and I'll probably continue to dollar cost average until we get to September. However, relying on just an image is not an exit plan, so I'll probably do some more research on some indicators that time the 2017 peak. I'll probably make a YouTube video explaining what I found if the model is any good, but for now, I'll just hold until September. Now that you know what I'm going to do, you're probably going to ask yourself what you should do if you don't already have a position in Bitcoin. You see all the news sites pumping news about Bitcoin, and every morning, Bitcoin seems to make a new high. You also see YouTube videos like mine showing off gains. So what do you do? Obviously, this is not financial advice. I'm a 22-year-old playing with excess money left over. But personally, I'm holding on to my position because of people and other companies that don't have a stake in Bitcoin. News like this, where Tesla investment is already up $1 billion, will cause people to FOMO in. More importantly, there are so many companies that are holding cash and don't have a stake in Bitcoin. With interest rates so low, the cash they are holding will continue to lose value over time. With this and the recent gains in Bitcoin, it can cause corporations to come in and buy. There was a study by ARK where if companies of the S&P 500 just put 10% of the cash into Bitcoin, it will push Bitcoin to $400,000. I'm not even remotely predicting Bitcoin to hit $400,000, but I'm saying that Bitcoin is closer to $100,000 than to $0. And once again, this is not financial advice. To wrap up this video, we will be talking about the risks to Bitcoin. So what are the risks to Bitcoin? Well, obviously the most important risks are regulations. The government does not want to see money flowing into Bitcoin because that further establishes Bitcoin as another form of payment. Why would the government want people to not use the dollar? The shift to cryptocurrency will cause them to lose power. Therefore, you have all the central bankers and treasury secretaries saying Bitcoin is only for terrorists. But the funny thing about all of this is that I'm pretty sure the US dollar is what all the terrorists use to launder money or to fund their operations because that's the easiest thing to do. Bitcoin is not as private as everyone thinks because it is on a public ledger. The only risk is that Bitcoin can drop 30% in a matter of seconds. If you can't stomach that, then Bitcoin is probably not the trade for you. Look at this image. Can you hold through multiple 30% drops that could happen within the same week? If you can't, then cryptocurrencies are probably not the asset for you. With that remark, I'm going to end this video. If this video, press the like button. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you don't want to miss out on any future content, press the subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see everyone on Sunday.
you.